Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello everyone, I am Muhammad Wardan, and in this video I am going to explain my final year project. My final year project title is Online Viva Management System for School of Computing Master of Computer Science MCS Postgraduate Program ESC Viva. However, this project is under the supervision of Dr. Siti Hajar Binti Uthman, and I want to thank Dr. Siti Hajar for all the help and guidance throughout the semester. I would like to start my presentation video by showing the video presentation outline. These are the outline that I will be demonstrating. First of all, I will talk about the problem background. Secondly, the proposed solution. Then the project importance and scope. Then the development methodology. And then the technologies used. And finally, the achievements and future thoughts. Problem background. In this section, I am going to talk about what is Viva, why Viva is important, and who are doing the Viva, and how they do it, how they use it. Is there a system that handles the Viva procedures, and the problems faced? And let's go. So to understand the problem background, first the system need to be understood, and the current system, which is the oral examination Viva, need to be explained. So what is the oral examination Viva? Okay, Viva is a university examination type in which the exam is conducted orally, where the student answer the questions in speech rather than writing. So why Viva is important? Why Viva is important? So Viva provide a chance for the student to defend his thesis, as well as justifying the thesis, and show the engagement of the student in the academic discussion with the examiner. In addition, Viva exam give the examiners a certainty of the thesis, and also ensure that the report that they are looking at is the student's work. And it is an opportunity to look at the thesis in more details and explore if there is any issues. And this exam will help to decide whether a student has met the requirements for the degree. As for the proposed system, which will assist in managing the Viva procedures of the Viva examination, and will be much flexible for users such as the supervisor, student, and examiner. The proposed project will help to ease the procedures and transform them to be online, from traditional procedures to online processes, which will save time for the student and supervisor, as it will be online, and everyone can do the procedures just by going to the system, which is web-based system. Okay, who are doing the Viva? All postgraduate students have to do the oral examination Viva, but as for this proposed project, this project will focus only on the students that are doing master studies mixed mode and research mode in the Faculty of Computing in UTM. How they do it? So how the current system of the Viva operations are currently being performed. Okay, the current system or procedures are considered manually, except that during the COVID-19 pandemic and with the Movement Control Order (MCO), the procedures little changed. So normally the postgraduate students need to submit their nomination report, proposal, thesis, and any document physically in a hard copy to the office in the faculty, and students do the necessary work to submit the required documents, such as the proposal, thesis, presentation slides, and video documents, uh, and presentation video. However, during the MCO, this changed by uploading these files, soft copy, in Google Drive, uh, so that the supervisor will be able to look at them and download them and view them. And student choose the examiners, the internal examiner and external examiners, using a traditional way, by selecting from the list that is given from the supervisor, uh, without any progress or status that is shown. So is there a system that handle the Viva procedures? Till this moment, there is the physical system, which is the traditional system, and with the MCO, the procedures change a little bit, just to upload these documents in the using Google Drive and send it to the supervisor. So till this moment, there is no actual online system in UTM to handle the Viva operations. So the current system is performed physically in traditional way. So the problem faced in this slide, the problems that are faced by the supervisor student will be discussed. So the current system has several disadvantages. For example, the ambiguity of the Viva processes and procedures. The student might not be sure of what is he doing or what he should do. So he will inform his supervisor, and the supervisor might have several students under his supervision. However, with the MCO movement, the students upload their Viva documents using the Google Drive, and the supervisor might lose some documents due to the unorganized way that is performed to store these documents. And it is difficult for the supervisor to follow the student progress in the current system, and this is because there is no system that exists that will organize the processes. And when it comes to the selecting examiners from a list that is that the supervisor submit, most of times the selected examiner is chosen. The selected examiner, most of time, he should be with like have a great knowledge on the same topic that he's chosen. But when he is chosen from the list, it's most of time the same examiner is also chosen, so he cannot be chosen by the student, which means that there is no proper record of an examiner's nomination system for selecting the chairperson and examiners. And also, this type of traditional process is time consuming, and most of professors and doctors are busy. This current system take a lot of time to be managed. As for the proposed solution, the proposed solution is an online web-based system that will transform the Viva's procedures from being traditional to be performed online. The system proposed uh, will assist the student and the supervisor and examiner in managing the Viva procedures in an easy and flexible approach. The proposed project will have a database, a centralized database that will store the information of the students and the documents and the examiner in efficient way. The proposed system will have four main users: the admin, who will represent the faculty office, and the supervisor, student, and examiner. The users, supervisor, students, examiner, will have to log in to the online web-based system. If they do not have a username and passwords, they need to register to the system. The user have to choose his type before logging in to the system. Before the user logging to the system, the user will be verified and authenticated. Then the user will be directed to the main page, which is the home page. The home page is different for each user, and the student will have different functionalities than the supervisor or examiner. The student will be able to see his information and edit them. Also, the student can fill in the nomination report and upload it for the supervisor to check it. Also, the student will be able to see the examiner's information, such as the name, status, field, and email. Also, the student will be able to choose the chairperson, internal and external examiners. And the student will be able to upload the necessary documents to the supervisor, and then will be and there will be a date that will show the submission date. As for the supervisor user, the main page will show the student profile and the nomination report, Viva documents, and the supervisor will be able to see the students' documents and download or print them. Also, the supervisor will have to manage what a student should submit from the Viva's documents. For example, the thesis, presentation slides, or anything. Also, the supervisor will be able to see the examiner's information, such as the name, status field, and email. As for the examiners, the examiner will have a different homepage, a main page, and also will be able to edit his information. Or and the examiner will be able also to approve or disapprove a student. If there is a student selected him as an examiner. Also, the examiner will be able to see the students that choose him as being their examiners in a list. As for the project importance and scope, the project will assist the supervisor and the examiner and student to go through the Viva procedures in a simple method, as the system provide the essential information and processes that a supervisor and student might need. This project will help the will help to organize the Viva's documents so that the documents are uploaded. Um, Storing and retrieving the documents using the proposed project will be in a simple way, an efficient way, and this system will help the student to choose the examiner in a better approach, as the system will provide the essential information of the examiner. The supervisor will be able to see if a student uploaded a document, and will be able to print or download the document. The examiner will be able to see if there is a student that have chosen him, and will have a choice to approve or disapprove the student. And yes, as for the project objective, uh, it is to study and observe the requirements for the management of conducting Viva processes for the postgraduate students in the School of Computing, which is specific to master students of computer science program, and to design and develop and integrate all system elements to produce an efficient and reliable online Viva management system for School of Computing Master of Computer Science postgraduate program, and to study the technologies used. So it is to the technologies used, such as, for example, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Node.js, MongoDB, will be studied and analyzed. And how can we use these technologies and integrate them with the proposed system? And the website will be designed using HTML and CSS and JavaScript as for the front end. And Node.js need to be understood, for example, how to handle the intensive back-end surfaces by using the Node.js. And as for the MongoDB, will be the database that will be used to store the information. MongoDB is a non-relational database and no SQL database. MongoDB uses a collection of records instead of tables and rows, and MongoDB is considered an easy database to work with. And finally, to test and validate the developed system against users of the system, which include the program coordinator, Viva examiners, and office clerk and students. So the project scope. So the proposed system is scoped to the master students in the School of Computing in UTM, and the system will be online based system. As for the application, web application, it can work on any device that has a browser. As for the current system analysis, I have compared the proposed system with the Viva processes that are conducted in 3 universities, as shown. Firstly, with UTM, a current traditional system, and the operations in the current system are manual. The student need to submit the documents and necessary files to the office, except that with the COVID-19 pandemic and with the MCO, the procedures changed a little bit, as the student submit the some files using Google Drive, by uploading these files in Google Drive to the supervisor, and the examiner is chosen in a manual approach. And as for the University of Manchester, the oral Viva exam is being performed by postgraduate students except that manually, except that filling some information, filling the information of the notice form submission is contact conducted online through the university website. And as for the University Malaya Bahang, all postgraduate students have to do their Viva exam, and the process is also manual, and except that the form of notice submission form is being done electronically using the website, the university website. So in both universities, the University of Manchester and the University Malaya Bahang, the Viva notice of submission form is being done electronically, which is unlike UTM, where students need to submit the form manually. Development methodology. As for the development methodology, the of this proposed system, rational unified process (RUP) is chosen. RUP works in an iterative way, and that is means that it performs different iterations. However, in each iteration, there are mainly four phases. These phases are inception, elaboration, construction, and transition. In particular, in the inception phase, the work is to scope the system, so basically understanding and figuring out what is the scope of the project and work, and what's the domain, and understanding all of the picture of the project, and the initial cost and budget also should be estimated during the first phase. And the elaboration phase is the phase in which focuses on the work and domain analysis, and define the basic architecture for the system. So this phase focuses on the design and architecture of the project, the architecture analysis of the project, and for the construction phase, the actual bulk of the development is performed. In this phase, most of the project implementation happened during the construction phase, and we are left with the last phase, which is transition. As for the transition phase, it is the phase where the system goes from development into real production project. And in this stage, the project should be available and should be also tested. The technologies that will be used for the proposed system are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, Visual Studio Code, Node.js, MongoDB, and Heroku Server. So, Visual Studio Code uses several programming languages to build an application. Visual Studio Code provide an easy and comfort method to use its tools and feature. And Visual Studio Code is very flexible and has many extensions and a lot of shortcuts. So Visual Studio Code will be the base of this project and workflow. Uh, and Visual Studio Code also is free software. As for the Node.js is an open source server-side platform which use an event-driven and non-blocking which allows users to build quick and scalable intensive application. Node.js application are real runtime environment that execute JavaScript code outside of the browser, and Node.js will be used in this project to build the back-end surfaces for the application programming interface, and it is an appropriate for building high scalable and run real runtime application. MongoDB is a document-oriented database that is non-relational database that scale out the data in an easy way and make development quicker because iterating can be done fast. MongoDB is one of the non-relational databases. It is NoSQL database type, which considered to be new. MongoDB is flexible to use, easy to learn, and considered fast because it is NoSQL document based. As for the Heroku server, Heroku is a cloud platform that can be used in this project to deploy, manage, and scale the system. It is a platform that act as a server technology that aids the processes of hosting the system online and make it accessible to the users. Heroku ensures that the system automatically recover from server failure and will handle the load balancing across many system instance, which is scalable. Achievements and future thoughts. And in this slide, I will be talking about the achievements that have been made. So the system design architecture are done. The overview of the system has planned and designed. The system requirements have been identified. The system architecture has been designed as well. System user interface also design has been prototyped. So as for the interface design, the proposed system will have three users types: student, and all of them need to log into the system, and these users are student, supervisor, and examiner. And when before logging, they will be verified and authenticated. So this is the login page for the proposed system. The user will have to enter his username and password. So this is the main page for the student. This is the home page for the student. The student will be able to go to his profile and fill the nomination report and see the examiner information list. Select a chairperson and examiners and upload the Viva documents. And if the student entered first time, this will be shown. Fill in the form, which is the first form that he need to fill to help him to go through the processes of the Viva system. So this if the student press on the his information, he will be directed to his information, his name, field, and extra his thesis, also status, chairperson, examiners will be there. And this is the page of the nomination report. The student can download the nomination report and then fill the necessary information and upload it so that the supervisor can get it, view it, print it, or download it. When the student click on the examiner information, a list will be shown to the student to show the examiner's information list, name, status, field, email, the IC number, or anything. And if the student want to choose a chairperson or an examiner, he have to go to this page, which is select chairperson and examiner. The student will have to choose a chairperson and examiner, internal and external, from a list that is given to him. And when the students want to upload a document to the supervisor, he have to go to the upload documents page. So he will be shown the necessary documents that he need to submit, and this is edited and managed by the supervisor. For example, it will be shown the Viva proposal or Viva thesis or presentation slide. And if the user is a supervisor, the home page will be shown like something like this. Student, he will be able to see the student profile and student nomination report that he uploaded, and the documents, and also the information of the examiners. So if the student uploaded the nomination report, the supervisor will be able to view or download. So if a student uploaded the document, the supervisor will be able to know the process of the student. For example, that this proposal or document is submitted or not. And this is when the doctor press on the file that is submitted from the student, he will be able to view, download, or print. And the date also will be shown, the date of submission date. And this is the home page for the examiner. If the user logged in as an examiner, he will have a list functionality to do, and when he register, he need to fill the information, and also he can edit the information. For example, the name, IC number, status, examiner type, institute, major, faculty, email, phone number. When a student select an examiner from the list that is given to the student, the examiner will get something like this, which will show the student name, supervisor name, and the exam date. And the examiner can approve or reject the student's request as to choose him to be an examiner for any reason. So if the examiner approved, uh, there will be a student, there will be a page which is for the student list. So the examiner will be able to see the student name, supervisor, exam, and status. For example, here we can see that Muhammad is approved, so that means that the examiner has approved and will be his examiner. On the other hand, we can see that Ahmad is not approved, which means that still did not approve this student. And that's it. Thank you.